everyone, welcome to Everything Stitching. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a cute basket out of the t-shirt yarn that we created in the last video. If you don't have t-shirt yarn, you can also make this basket using any bulky weight yarn that you have, and it's pretty easy to make up. So feel free to grab your t-shirt yarn that you made or your bulky yarn. And then you're also going to need obviously a crochet hook. I'm using a 6.5 millimeter. Depending on how you crochet, you can choose, 6, 6.5, 7, around there. I even can go up to a 7, but I think I want this basket to be on the smaller side, so I'm going to stick with my 6.5. Okay, so you're going to make your slip knot to get started, okay, and then you're going to chain 2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do 10 half double crochets into that first chain space, okay? And just in case you don't know how to do that, let me walk you through how to do that, okay? So you're going to yarn over, you're going to have 2 on your hook, you're going to insert your hook into that first chain. You're going to pull up and you're going to have 3 on your hook, yarn over, and pull through. And I'm going to quickly grab, I don't think I have a stitch marker on me. Here we go. I have a safety pin and I'm just going to use that. I don't know where my stitch markers are, but I want to go ahead and, let's see. I want to mark that first one so I know how many I did. Okay, so like I said, we're going to work through until we end up doing 10 half double crochets, and then we'll meet back there. Okay, so I've done my 10 half double crochets in the round, and now I'm going to open up my my stitch marker. So look, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch. So go ahead and just close that up, okay? Okay, so now that we did that, we're going to start on our second round. And to do that, you're going to chain 2. So 1. Oh, sorry, I pulled up the tail from the other round. Okay, so 1 and 2. Okay, now in our first stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet . Okay, and then we're going to mark, oops, we're going to mark that first stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do another half double crochet into the same stitch. So you're going to be doing 2 half double crochets into every stitch in this second round, okay? And then I'll meet you back there. Okay, so I've made it all the way around. And by doing that, that now leaves us with 20 half double crochets. And now I'm just going to slip stitch it to that first one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so now we're at 20. It's looking really good. Yours is probably going to look a bit different than mine because my t-shirt yarn has those seams that are everywhere. And your t-shirt most likely won't have that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so then for round 3, it's going to be pretty easy. We're going to chain 2 like we have been. And then we're going to do a pattern of 2 half double crochets and then 1 half double crochet. 2 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet, right? Until we go around the entire thing. So then we're going to end up with 30 instead of 20. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And after I do my first half double crochet, I get my stitch marker and I mark it just so I know which one is actually my first stitch of the row, so we keep track. Okay, so I did my 1 half double crochet, and then in this stitch I'm going to do 2 half double crochets. Okay, whoops, let's try that again. Yarn over, pull through, and shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. So you're going to notice that when you use t-shirt yarn, it does not work as easily as like acrylic yarn, right? Or something like that. So it's very similar to working with, you know, very hard to work with like yarns like cotton and stuff that don't give a lot, right? Because typically your t-shirts are probably mostly cotton anyways. But anyways, just work it. Sometimes you got to kind of wiggle it, and also go up a size in your crochet hook if you want to. I want this one to be on the smaller side, so that's why I am not. But if I didn't really care about the size for this particular one, I would probably move up to a 7. Like I said, right now I'm at a 6.5. Okay, so see, that's how it's looking. It's coming out really good. So I just did 2 half double crochets. So now I'm going to do 1 half double crochet into this stitch. And if you've seen where I just yarned over and pulled through, that was another one of those seams on my yarn. But you most likely won't have that as often as mine, and yours is going to be easier to crochet with. That's also something that's making this particular one difficult, because I am encountering all those thick seams, but it's looking really cool though. Okay, I'm just going to keep working my way around. Okay, so now we made our way all the way around, and now we have a total of 30 stitches. Now we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to just actually do a single crochet into each stitch. So we're going to end up with 30 single crochets all the way around. So just work your way through. Once you do that first single crochet, you're going to get your stitch marker, get that marked, and just work your way around. Okay, so I made it with my single crochet all the way around, and I did 30 of them. And now what you're going to want to do is you're just going to do that same thing over and over until you get the depth that you want for your little basket, okay? So for each round, you're going to do 30 single crochets, and then always be sure to get your hook and do a slip stitch into that first stitch to end your row, okay? So now, there we go. So we ended that row completely just now. Now you're going to chain 1 and then just continue on your way of single crochet until you get to the depth that you want for your little basket. And this is, like I said, this is a little tiny little basket, just enough to throw little knickknacks in and stuff. But you can also do this basket pattern and just keep making it larger until you get to the size that you want, and then go from there. So there you go. I'm just going to keep going now and probably end up doing a total of like 8 rounds or so, or not 8 rounds, but 8 rounds total. So probably another 4 rounds of this, and then I'll probably stop, and then I'll show you guys how to do the last row of your basket, depending on how many rows you end up making, how to go ahead and finish it so it looks really nice. Okay, so I finished all my rows. This is how tall I want it to be. Like I said, I wanted a cute little tiny basket, right? So like, could almost put a mug in it to put just various little like, you know, things like that to keep your room tidy. And like I said, you can just keep going and making this as big as you want. Now to finish it, you're actually just going to slip stitch into every stitch of your round. So I slip stitched the first one just to finish that last row. And then I went ahead and I put in my stitch marker. That way I can, I know when to stop, right? So you're going to put your hook in, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through. And then it's just going to have a nice finished edge along the top. So I'm just going to go around and do the whole thing like this. And then I'll show you guys how it looks. Okay, I made my way all the way around, just finishing my last slip stitch. Okay, and then you're going to pull it up a bit so that way you can tie off, okay? Now, that t-shirt that we made the t-shirt yarn out of, that's all that I was using, right? Was just that roll, and it was enough to make this basket and still have some left over. So you're gonna cut it off, right? And then tie off like you normally would whenever you're crocheting, right? Now, unfortunately, I am tying off right where there was a tag, but I got that figured out, no biggie. And then what you're gonna wanna do is weave in your ends just like you would on any crochet project, right? So I'm gonna get my ends, and actually I'm gonna cut it right here just because I have that seam on mine and we don't need it. You know what I'm gonna do with the rest of this yarn? I'm gonna make like a yarn ball for Cashew. I think he would love it. Okay, so I am going to have this come down. Kind of want this to go down and then weave it in, right? You're gonna notice that when you make baskets out of t-shirt material or t-shirt yarn, it makes it so sturdy, way more sturdy than if you were to use like bulky weight yarn to make your basket. So actually, like if I had to choose what type of material to make baskets out of, I would actually say t-shirt material is the way to go, just because of the sturdiness of it. And with the basket, you typically want it to be pretty sturdy, right? But it is pretty difficult to work with in the fact that it's not very giving, like acrylic yarn is, right? But I mean, there's always pros and cons, right, to different yarns. Okay. So now that I've weaved it in, I'm gonna just cut it off and check it out. Isn't that so cute? I love the size of it. Like I said, it is so sturdy. Like, I'm pushing on it. It is really sturdy. Here we go. Now, mine may look a little rougher than yours is gonna look because, like I've mentioned this entire time, my t-shirt that I had tons and tons of seams everywhere. So that's what all this is, right? Is whenever there was a seam. So I don't mind because this basket, I'm either going to keep it in my craft room and put craft supplies, or I'm actually going to give it to my daughter for her supplies. And because she actually came in a little bit ago and she's like, can I have it? I'm like, okay, sure. So I don't really care about that. But if I were to be making a basket and I was going to be using it to like display cute things like in my living room, then I would be sure to not pick a t-shirt that is going to have all these seams everywhere. I know some people even will go to a thrift store or Goodwill or something and pick out t-shirts that are colors that they really like, and then cut those up and make that into t-shirt yarn and then make huge baskets out of that, because you're picking and choosing the colors that you want, plus you're upcycling something. So it's really cool. But this was just because I had this t-shirt already at home. But if I were to go ahead and make a huge basket for my house, I'd be going to Goodwill and sourcing out some really cute colors of t-shirts and then making yarn out of that, and then make like a giant one that's gonna hold, I don't know, blankets or something like that. But if you do that, you're gonna need to take lots and lots of breaks, because t-shirt yarn definitely can be like painful to the wrist. So keep that in mind. Go stretch out your wrist if you're using t-shirt yarn. Okay, well, I'm gonna go give this to my daughter and let her put her little trinkets in it. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.